Pouring herself another cup of coffee and settling in her favorite chair, Elizabeth called Rebecca's number and hit the speaker icon on her iPhone. Rebecca picked up almost immediately and said, "Hi, Elizabeth. I was just thinking about you and feeling a bit worried. Is everything all right?" Elizabeth recounted the whole story about her family, culminating with a story of the package from Grandma Cullen containing the letter, book, and ring. Rebecca listened without interruption and waited until Elizabeth said, "So, what do you make of all of this?" Rebecca replied, "Well, I'm not going to ask you what took you so long to tell me the first part of the story. I'm so sorry, Rebecca. I've always been torn between my loyalty to my mother and the father who raised me and my sanity," Elizabeth said with a nervous laugh. "Do you have a picture of the book and ring?" asked Rebecca. "Sending right now," replied Elizabeth, choosing the picture of the ring and the first few pages of the book. Elizabeth could hear the ping on Rebecca's phone as she received the pictures. "Wow, that's a beautiful ring, Elizabeth. I've seen writing like this when I was in Ireland. It's definitely Gaelic, but I can't read any of it." She hesitated before adding, "I know you don't like hearing this, Elizabeth, but from looking at the triquetra symbol on the cover, I think you might have a witch's grimoire passed down to you from your grandmother." Elizabeth sighed. "Witches and grimoire. Rebecca, really?" If anything, she thought, she received a lovely family history book and piece of family jewelry that had been lovingly handed down through generations. She was honored that her grandmother thought to send it to her after all the years without contact. Redirecting Elizabeth from the inevitable argument that happened when they discussed anything to do with belief systems, Rebecca asked, "Did you leaf through the book to see if there were any explanatory notes in English?" Elizabeth got up from her chair and picked up the book from the dining room table. Settling back into her chair, Elizabeth opened the book for the first time since putting on her grandmother's ring. She caught her breath. "What the fuck?" There was a moment of silence before Rebecca asked, "Elizabeth, what's going on? Are you all right?" Elizabeth stared at the page in disbelief. She took a deep breath and replied, "I can read every word in the book." "You can suddenly understand Gaelic?" asked Rebecca. "No," replied Elizabeth. "It's written in English, and it looks like a bunch of recipes for teas and tinctures." Rebecca looked at the pages on her phone and said, "That's not what you sent me." "It's definitely written in English," replied Elizabeth. Rebecca asked, with some trepidation, "Will you humor me for a minute, Elizabeth?" Her patience wearing thin and concerned that she would be late leaving for her dad's apartment, Elizabeth replied, "Sure, Rebecca. Anything for you. Can we just make it quick?" "Take off the ring," said Rebecca. Elizabeth took off the ring and set it on the dining room table. "Done," she said. "Now, open the book and tell me what you see," asked Rebecca. Elizabeth did not respond right away. Not believing her eyes, she opened and closed the book several times before saying, "Rebecca, I can't read a word of it." "Put the ring back on, Elizabeth," said Rebecca. "No, Rebecca," said Elizabeth. "I can't do that right now. I've got to meet with my family." Shaken and confused, she clicked the end call button. She grabbed her sunglasses and purse and headed out to her car.